everybody. My name is Alan, and on behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. This show, obviously, is for people who've seen it before, it goes out all over the country, and it's shown at different times in different cities, at different dates, and different times during the day. But when we're filming this, it's July 23rd, 1999. We're filming it in Santa Barbara, California. But everywhere, all over the world, we know that this is the week that John F. Kennedy Jr. Flew his plane or whatever happened to him, and he's no longer with us, 38 in the prime of life, his wife Carolyn, her sister. And what is the message? Is the message not to fly a plane? Is the message not to be reckless? Is the message to be afraid? Is the message to be careful? Is the message, what is the message? And to me, the message is that we have this life, we have it now. None of us know whether we're careful, whether we take our vitamins, whether we, keep our cholesterol low, whatever we do, we don't know. There are people, everyone out there, there are people in the obituaries younger than them, or not everybody. There are 99.9% of us all who are watching this show. There are people in the obituaries today younger than them. So now is the time for us all to come into that experience of joy, of love, of living this life fully, not recklessly and not carefully, but consciously, living in consciousness, which in a human body, when we're living in consciousness, that is the experience of love. And so for all of us, as we've been saying show after show, now is the time, coming into the new millennium. None of us can wait. None of us knows what tomorrow can bring. So for all of us, now is the time for us to come together. Now is the time for us to really, as a human species, as a species with all the plants and the trees and the dolphins and the whales and all other creatures on this earth, to come together in that love, in that dedication to the oneness, and bring forth a new millennium, a new world. So whatever we've done today, whatever we need to do, let that be the new mantra, in a sense. Let that be the new calling for us all to try harder tomorrow, to surrender more, to let go more into the love. That's what we are. It's really not hard to do. It's just, let's have that intent. And tonight we have people with us whose life is that intent, and they try to spread that consciousness, that love, that dedication to the oneness with all those who they come in contact with. We have Teresa Dale, who's a world-renowned authority on healing the whole person. She uses various modalities like homeopathy, herbology, music therapy, emotional release technologies. She's the founder of the Wellness Center and the Wellness Research Institute. They do a lot of work with children. And she's just a being who has dedicated her life to bringing that love into her own life, and then to spread that consciousness and that love to all others. And then, as we normally do on Bridging Heaven and Earth, we have somebody who does it another way. We have Nicola Gordon, who's a singer and a songwriter and a teacher of music. And she views the process of writing and performing music as a vehicle for her and for others, all those who hear her, for creativity and healing. And to bring that consciousness and that love out, her new CD, Turning, which you'll hear, I think 3 of the cuts from that song, yes, that is correct, is just inspirational works that let us know that each breath of our lives that seem mundane are really part of that web of life, that web of love. So for all of us, let's just, whatever we've done today, let's just come together, at least for this next hour, and use this next hour as a springboard for the rest of our lives, and just let that love flow. So as we normally do, to try to, center us all and to come to a place where that openness is there, let's just all try to meditate or relax or just settle in for a little while with me, and then we'll start the show with a song from Nicola. Join me, please. Thank you very much. So we're going to start tonight's show with Nicola. Gordon doing Enough, and this song was written and it's going to be performed by Nicola, and then when that's over, we'll come back to the set and Theresa will be with us. So whenever we're ready, Nicola, please. Thank you.
Haven't I had enough of wishing you were mine and thinking this could solve all my problems this time? Haven't I had enough of looking to you for some crack in the cosmic door? Heaven only knows I've had enough. I've had enough. Roaring down the road, too much I gotta do. 100 miles an hour ain't fast enough to catch the pieces scattered behind. Every time I'm rushing down that broken white line, heaven only knows I've had enough. I had enough. I had enough. I had enough. Oh, the topsoil's eroding in the Central Valley, and the Civil War is raging at the neighbors right next door, and my own ozone layer is crumbling into little fragments, but I'm staring at the spots on the black and white linoleum floor. Haven't I had enough of wanting more and more? It's a bottomless pit, I don't know what I'm trying to fill it for. Here in the future and fighting with my past, while precious moments are spilling from my glass, heaven only knows I've had enough. I had enough. I had enough. I had enough. Precious moments are spilling from my cup. I had enough.
Hi, welcome, Theresa.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Alan.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
So your path on healing started when basically you got sick, right? And then you had to try to find a way to keep yourself here.
I think that, like with so many healers, that there is some event in your life that turns you loose and says, okay, this is what I want to do. And actually mine started when I was very young, probably 8 years old. And my childhood was like many people's childhood. It was, not the best childhood. So I wanted to kill myself. Mm-hmm. And one day I was contemplating, an 8-year-old little girl, about how I could do it because I was afraid. And well, I turned to my left, and Jesus was sitting on the bed with me. And he talked with a New Jersey accent, so I thought it was cool, He was he had his white things on, and he said, you're not going to do anything. You're going to help people. And I thought, yeah, fat chance. I'm never going to make it through this childhood. I remember thinking this when I was 8 years old. And I had these I would say visits, and now, as an adult, I would look back and say maybe I imagined it, but it was as real as you are here with me. Mm-hmm. And then that kept me going for my whole childhood. And then when I was 22, I had a tumor on top of my uterus. I don't know if it was cancerous or not because I wouldn't let them do biopsies. And at that moment, I made the decision that I was not going to have it cut out, because I knew that it was caused from my feelings from my childhood and from a lot of things that were stuck there about myself, my femininity, fear of lots of things. And so I set out a course to heal it myself, which I did. It took about 6 months. And then I said, great, I'm going to tell everybody how I did it. I was 22, and study it, and I'm going to help other people to do the same thing. And so I had a fire in me from that. It's from the time I was actually 8 years old, but from the time I was 22, I had a fire that is still there, and it's nothing can put it out. So I mean, I was near Chernobyl when it blew up, and I had radiation poisoning, and I healed myself of that with homeopathy and crystals. And it seems like I have gotten in a lot of hot water with different things, and I always seem to be able to fix it.
So, and you've actually gone around the world studying the different modalities and things like that to come to some sort of synthesis in your own work or play.
Right. Well, when you create as many diseases with yourself as I have, you have to go around and find out how to fix it.
I don't like getting a head cold.
Right.
Okay?
So I studied.
Thanks for taking it from me.
So I've studied all over the world, and in Germany and Switzerland, which was my favorite place. But India was also lovely, and South Africa, in England, Portugal.
So you don't use, like, in your healing techniques, you don't use just one method. I mean, and each person is like a separate.
Right. Well, see, each person is biochemically individual, and that means that what works on John is not going to work on Joe. May not. May work on them, but it's very individualistic.
And how do you test that? How do you know I mean, can you see it, or is there a test, or?
Right.
No, I mean, so we've had a lot of people on the show that see different, you know.
Oh, I feel things, and I allow my feelings to guide me as to what to do, and then I test it using neurophysical reprogramming, which is a technique that I developed, so that I could help an individual to get to the core of an illness and release it, and empower them. So instead of them thinking that they need to come back and see me 20 times, I like to teach them how to do it themselves, like I did, because then they're really empowered, and that's my passion. If my passion is anything, it's empowering people as to their greatness and their power and how they can heal themselves. You know, so I mean, that's really what keeps me going in everything that I do.
And that's basically the tenet of the wellness center and the wellness schools and all the workshops basically you're doing.
Right. I started the International College of Naturopathy. I didn't want a school, but Spirit said to me, if you do this, they will approve it, meaning the state of California, you'll get a vocational school. And I went, okay. And I thought, you know, maybe it won't get approved, and they approved it. So
now, is this part of the Wellness Center, or is this?
It is. The Wellness Center is, for research and education, is the mother company.
The mothership.
The mothership.
As we say.
It's lined with amethyst crystals, you know. And this mothership has a kid.
Right.
And it's the International College of Naturopathy. And I teach 2 courses that I've developed, and researched all of the different healing modalities in those 2 courses. That's the holistic health practitioner training, and then the advanced holistic health practitioner training. And then I have a naturopathic training where I invite teachers from all over the country to come and do their shtick. You know, they're authors, and they're incredible healers, and they come and teach herbology and aromatherapy and, you know, nutrition and stuff like that. And you know, and then I also have a product line, neuroemotional remedies, that I developed. What I love doing is creating tools for healing so that people can heal themselves. And
so if somebody came to you and, you know, had a, just feeling bad, I mean, they don't know if it's a tumor, they don't know if it's cancer, they don't know if it's You know? So, I mean, how would you approach it? I mean, would you ask them a lot of questions? Would you just know right off? I mean, how would it work?
What I would do is find out what they want to accomplish, and are they willing to learn how to fix it themselves, and I can be their guide until they feel, you know, like they can take over. And what I would do is do this type of testing, which called neurophysical reprogramming. It's a huge word, you know, maybe I made a mistake by calling it that many years ago, but now I'm stuck with it, you know. It's a big word, doctors like it, but patients, it's not like a warm fuzzy little word.
No, it's not. We're not familiar with that term.
So what it is it's a type of kinesiology that I developed, and with it you use homeopathic vials that I call filters that allows the test to be accurate. So we test the body, all the acupuncture points, all the reflex points, and then we find out if we find a weakness like in a pancreas or liver or thyroid, then what I do is I guide them to finding out what's causing it, instead of loading them up with a lot of vitamins and minerals, which they may need, and I'm not opposed to that, but you can't take a vitamin when you hate yourself. I mean, it's not going to fix it, you know what I'm saying?
Right, I mean, because it's just going to keep perpetuating.
Right, and then there's going to be more and more pills, when what the person really needs to do is get in touch with what's creating the physical symptoms. The physical symptom, it's only like the body telling you.
That's like the tip of the iceberg, and underneath there is all the disease.
Exactly, it's like the body saying, hey, look at me, you know, pay attention to what this is, and then you need to go under that and find out what's creating that, and
how do you do that?
Well,
that sounds like a whole other process.
No, it's with that long word, neurophysical reprogramming.
Really, that will indicate.
It's a technique that has a protocol where you test a person and you find out where the symptom is stuck, the actual energy pattern of it, and what's in the energy pattern. Does it come from your mother? Is it a belief system or an identity from your mother? Yeah, from your mother, from your father. Is it in your DNA? Is it in your genetic coding? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to let it go? And you find out what beliefs, systems, and identities are holding it there, making it very difficult to get well.
And this is all available through this three-word thing that I can have very good fun
NPR.
to
It's
say.
NPR.
National Public Radio.
Very well. NPR.
Right.
So,
just by listening to a public radio station.
It's looking like a radio. You tune into your own frequencies. But, you know, I believe that people, you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of healers that I teach, and that when they first come into the classes, they say, well, people really don't want to get better, and that's why they're not getting better. I do not believe that. I believe that the issues are unconscious to them. They may have an inkling of what's going on, or they may have no idea, and it's totally unconscious. And from that compassionate point of view, I help an individual to get in touch with what, and bring it up from the very deep surface, and then use homeopathy to release it.
And how do you bring it up? Through like these various techniques and herbologies and the...
Through NPR. I use the NPR, which I teach in the holistic health practitioner training. That's the main thing you learn, and it has different parts to it. You can do different things with it. And it's so simple, Alan, that you know, I can teach a lot of people to do it. It's very, very simple, and it's very effective. And I could teach people to do it on themselves. That's why I created it.
And it doesn't, does it take any like machines or tools?
No machines, no tools. Just you go into the body and you can test yourself with your fingers, wearing filters so that you can't fool yourself. Homeopathic little vials, so that you can't fool yourself, so that you can't influence the testing. And then you can find out what's stuck in that energy pattern causing the symptoms. And you do that by questioning. You ask a question to yourself, or if you're working on someone, to the person, they come up with an answer. The answer is a belief system that's stuck. They may have never ever thought about this thing that comes up in their whole entire life, but it will come up. And then once we get a bunch of the belief systems that are in there and some identities that are anchoring it in, then I have them feel it all, like really have an experience with each belief system and each identity. And then when they felt it all, I put neuro-emotional remedies, my remedies under the tongue, and they keep feeling it until they oftentimes even forget what they were doing. They'll go, what were we working on? You know, and it was something really dramatic.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
so
basically,
it releases
it just releases it, and it's not part of them anymore, so why would they remember it?
And it's not important to remember it. Let it go. That's it.
Absolutely.
Enough.
Yeah, enough is enough. Right.
You know. So the whole thing is to bring the consciousness up to the surface and not to dwell in a painful situation. You know, some people feel like in order to get better, they have to suffer and feel agony forever. And you just don't need to do that. This is a very compassionate technology, so that a person, by the time they leave, they feel high. They say, oh, this was the cheapest drunk I've ever had, or I feel stoned, and this is great. How can I do this myself? And I teach people to do this. I develop the technique, and I teach it.
You call it a technology, but there's not what normally would be referred to as technology. There's no machine.
There's no machine.
So you mean it as technology in what sense?
It's a protocol. It's a protocol that you follow. In other words, we can use it as a methodology. I created it.
Through the synthesis of all your
many years
and healing yourself from 3 terminals.
It took a lot of work to do that. It's like, come on. I mean, I had an abusive childhood, and I had to heal all of that so that I could be well. And in the process of studying and working on people, I discovered how screwed up I really was. And then I said, okay, we have, I'm not going to rest until I nail this, because you got to get to a point where you stop blaming your parents no matter what they did, no matter what.
Yeah, at some point you're your own person.
You're your own person, and you move on. And so I developed this technology to heal myself. And I thought, if this works on me, I'm going to teach it to everybody I can, because And is this part of like a school of, was it naturopathy? Is that the way you pronounce it? Yeah, it's a good word, the International College of Naturopathy. And what I did is I got it approved as a vocational school. So if someone wants to take these trainings, then they can practice on other people.
But there are other naturopathy schools all over the country and all over the world. But this is a special technique that you've developed.
Well, yes and no. There's 3 courses in this school, 2 of which I developed and I teach myself. And it could be related to naturopathy, but it's its own unique thing. And then I have the naturopathic practitioner training,
I see. That's a whole
which is a 15-month training, and that's where all the different teachers come in, and we all work together to empower students to be healers, which is what they want to do. And many people have studied for 20 years, but they don't have a credential. Not that I think that that's that important, but a lot of people seem to want that. And so,
well, don't you need it to practice in some places, or to heal people?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
practicing medicine without a license.
Right. Well, actually, this is naturopathy. It's not considered like totally medicine. And there is no licensure in the state of California. But as a vocational school, when people graduate, they are allowed to have a new vocation. It's just another way to do it, so that people can really work on other people and help them. We need a lot of helpers out there reaching people. And I have people from all different states coming to take this because of the teachers that I have. And it's a really good opportunity. It's a really great school, and we have a lot of fun.
So, I mean, you've studied a lot of disease. Now, would you say the root of disease is like disharmony and not feeling connected to, call it God, truth, love, or how would you describe that?
I think that's a part of it, Alan, and I think that for many people, the root of their disease is totally unknown to them. They could actually perceive that they are connected to God. They could actually perceive that they are living in harmony. Yet, at a certain time in their life, something sets off and comes up for them, and it's a disease, and they have no idea why they did it. They start blaming God. They think God did it, and we all know that God didn't do that, that it was maybe something genetically that they brought forward from mother, father, whenever. So this is an opportunity for them to get deep without having to stay in a suffering place for very long. They can get deep, find out what it is, release it, and grow.
Have you written a book that describes this?
Yes.
Yeah, what
It's actually a very simple technology. It is. It's in neurophysical reprogramming. The name of the book is called Transform Your Emotional DNA. And it's only 110 pages. It's got a lot of white space so people can integrate. And it's doing very well.
So just, why don't you define DNA, then we'll do the second set with Nicola, and then we'll come back. So just define DNA now, then we'll come back to that. How would you define DNA in a human being?
DNA in a human being is a storehouse of information. It's like a library where there's thousands, tens of thousands of books of knowledge about you, about where you
Mine
came
is a little
from.
shorter than
No, yours is maybe even longer than that, right?
No, mine's pretty long at this point.
I mean, and it's all about, it's not only about the color of your hair and your eyes that you inherited, it's about your emotional genetic makeup. It's got tons of information. It's an information storage house.
Okay, well, we'll get back to that. Okay, so we're going to have Nicola do the second set. She's going to do two songs, Peace and Boxes, and both songs were written by Nicola, and she's going to perform them. So, Nicola, please.
I pass a man walking, hands in pockets, gazing at the ground. And a little lady with her shopping cart, singing softly to the treasure she found. Giggling girls, skipping smiles, teasing and running away. Tall oak trees silently stand in the hum of the Harleys on this hot, sticky day. I can feel the growling hunger inside my flesh and bones. It's written all over the graffiti on the walls, and the screech of the bus brakes on the road. Couple of kids at the corner, laughing at life coming down. Old sneakers dangling from the telephone wires as the green grass pushes through the cracks of the underbelly of this proud town. And for some odd reason, the sense of belonging holds me today. I'm melt with your smile and the vision of your step as you walk on your way. I wish you peace to your day, peace to your day. Oh, the tall orders we pile on ourselves and the hopes that can't be realized. And you who seems to done me wrong, I wish you nothing but peace to the pain in your lives. sleeping infant in mommy's arms, squirming kids by the bus stop sign. Old wise ones moving slow, sidestepping this desperate race against time. And for some odd reason, the sense of belonging holds me today. I melt with your smile and the rhythm of your gait as you pass by on your way. I wish you peace to your day, peace to your day. Ace are walking, hands in pockets and gazing at the ground. I wonder if you ever notice how inside and outside chase each other around. And for some odd reason, a sense of belonging holds me today. I melt with your smile and the vision of your step as you walk along your way. I wish you peace to your day, peace to your day, peace to your day. Almost my life I was in boxes, boxes of other people's dreams. It didn't even occur to me I could play for myself. Almost my days I was caught in the haze of looking good, too ready to save everyone but me. Like I was told I should, like I was told I should. Almost the way I was taught as a child to be quiet, be still, be a good little girl. And now every time I look at you, I know I should, I know I really should, I know I should. Oh, those boxes, they don't melt away, and they don't give in easy, and they just want to stay. All those boxes, they keep haunting me. No matter how I try, I still can barely see the light. Fishes swimming in the deep blue, they don't know they're in water, and I don't know too. Almost the way I move through you, like soft shadows on the morning dew. And most of the time I climb into your arms, I lose little parts of me I'm starting to see. All those boxes, they don't melt away, and they don't give in easy, and they just want to stay. All those boxes, they keep haunting me. No matter how I try, I still can barely see the light. Fishes swimming in the deep blue, they don't know they're in water, and I don't know too. So you say, come with me. You say you'll hold me forever, and you'll wipe away my tears. You hold back stormy weather and push away my fears. So you say, come with me. You hold me in the moonlight, and you rock me on the sea. You hold all the reasons in the way it's supposed to be, and I think shed. All those boxes, they don't melt away, and they don't give in easy, and they just want to stay. All those boxes, they keep haunting me. No matter how I try, I still can barely see, like fishes swimming in the deep blue. They don't know they're in water, and I don't know too. All those boxes, all those little boxes. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, ay, ay,
Wow. Thank you, Nicola. That was fantastic. Thank you. So we're back with Teresa. So we were talking about the DNA. So how does your modality like rework it or like heal the damage or the disharmony in a human being that way?
Well, it allows you to bring to the surface those things that are holding you back, that are keeping you from experiencing who you really are and your dreams. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all have dreams. Some of them we may feel are out of reach, mm-hmm. or it's too late. A lot of mm-hmm. people say, oh, it's too late. I can't do this now.
Isn't there some talk now about, I mean, we've had people on the show with that there are 12 strands of DNA and we've lost some and we're gaining some. I can't remember all the facts and figures, but there's something going on with the DNA that, you know, a healing process or, you know, the new energy, the new millennium. Are you familiar with that and
yes.
involved with that?
Well, actually, the DNA has these 12 strands, mm-hmm. and with the work that I teach and I do, you can follow them each step of the way, all the way down to the bottom, and test each step of the way and find out if there's some macrocosm stuck in there.
So there's some blockage.
Yeah.
And if all the DNA isn't unblocked, then it's like a car running on like two cylinders or something, an 8-cylinder. It just, you're just like half-assed, as they say.
Half-assed.
Right.
Yeah, it's very Brooklyn. I like that. Brooklynese. Very good. So it's like a lot of people feel that they cannot create what they want in their life, or they're constantly dealing with stuff that pulls them backwards mm-hmm. instead of forward. And so, you know, it's just very important that everybody really knows that they have the ability to change it, and that it's not mystical. It could be mystical experience, but I mean, it's not hard. I've mm-hmm. taught a 12-year-old girl who was gang raped mm-hmm. to heal herself of that experience, and in 2.5 months, it was done. Mm. She didn't have to bring that to the rest of her life and deal with it for the next 20 years. So it's a very compassionate technology that anyone can really learn if they have the passion and the desire to see where they can go, to see what's possible for this human being. And, you know, I believe that we're all great, mm-hmm. that all of us have the potential to be mm-hmm. whatever we want to be. And sometimes we don't aim high enough because we don't want to get shot down and we don't want to suffer. But if you have some tools, then you're not afraid to shoot high, because you know if something stands in the way of your journey, that you can take a look at it without fear, mm-hmm. and you can nail it, as we say in mm-hmm. New York.
So you can be, so you can be objective. In other words, you
yes.
can see things like from a
yes,
and not take everything personally.
Exactly, and it's true. So I basically am a hardcore homeopath. I mean, homeopathy, which a lot of people are just starting to reemerge
That's not a
now.
sexual preference, by the way, for most of us.
Yeah.
Homeopathy.
Right, homeopathy is...
yeah, why don't you explain a little about that, because that is an interesting concept.
It's a very old science of medicine. It's approved by the FDA. Yay, something's approved by the FDA.
Does that mean it doesn't work?
No.
I thought that was their
that
criteria.
means that
if it works, we won't approve it.
it's researched for so long, Alan, for such a long time, like centuries, it's been researched, that they cannot keep it out because it was grandfathered in and it has no side effects, and they have it's volumes of informations of provings of all of these remedies, volumes, that hundreds of thousands of research
and the theory
documents
behind homeopathy is that it's, yeah, go ahead.
It's a tiny, small amount, like if you have an injection, like an inoculation, a vaccine, they give you a small amount. Well, it's similar to that, only it's even a smaller amount, where it's called energy medicine. Now, a good way to perceive it that would give people an understanding is that electricity, you get results with electricity, you can't see it going through the walls. It's an energy. Well, this is energy medicine, and it's called, they developed this theory that is based on like cures like. In other words, if you ate arsenic, you'd get pretty sick and die. But if you make a remedy out of arsenic and you took it for the same symptoms as what would be created as if you took the arsenic and you felt like you were going to be dying any minute, it would heal all of these symptoms if you took it homeopathically. It would heal all of those symptoms.
So in a similar way, I mean, they do this in, I think, allopathic medicine to some extent, but that for ADD, attention deficit disorder, they almost give you speed, which would seem like the opposite effect. Some kind of speed, but do they do that in like a homeopathic way, where they give something that would normally be considered?
Right. For every disease known to man, there is a homeopathic remedy. It hasn't been widely publicized because it's inexpensive. Drug companies can't make money from it. And it's, you put it...
But there's a lot of that now in almost any health food. So there are whole walls of homeopathic remedies.
Right, but there are specific ones that you can special order from a doctor, and then the doctor sends away a homeopathic doctor. There's a specific one for HIV, for AIDS, cytomegalovirus, chronic fatigue. The homeopathic remedies are actually made from the viruses itself, so that...
and they're not available in local stores?
Those are not available yet. Hopefully. There is a homeopathic remedy made...
And your feeling is these would cure AIDS?
I've used it with patients and myself.
And it's 100% effective?
Yeah.
If people have the intention to be healed, in a way,
well,
how would you describe that?
Well, you know what's interesting about homeopathy and why it's so effective is every homeopathic remedy has an emotional and mental component to it. In other words, you take the arsenic, the arsenicum album, which is arsenic remedy, and your emotions are going to change from taking it. Definitely. Okay? And it is the only form of medicine where you actually can heal yourself emotionally and mentally when you take a remedy. And because of that, it works with the whole person. Now, if you don't test to see what potency you need, what strength you need of each remedy, you could miss it, and it may not work right away. It may be slower coming on. You really need to be able to test it to make sure you take the right one. And when you do that, when you learn to test it or have someone trained to test it, then you hit it nail right on the head, and you take it, and people feel a difference within a week to 2 weeks.
Now, were there testing methods before you came up with this NPR thing? Or,
many testing methods. Yeah, there's transdermal screening, which is a whole other kind of complicated subject. There's different types of kinesiology. There's many different types of, testing. There's different equipment that is illegal in this country that tests things very nicely. But NPR is legal. It's very, very, very accurate, and it's easy to learn. But homeopathy is the greatest. I mean, I have seen remedies for diseases that you hear on TV there's no cure for, and you just sit there white-knuckled in your chair knowing that someday the media is going to change. It's going to change. Your show is a part of that. You're reaching people because there are remedies for diabetes, for everything you can think of. There's a remedy for it. Every bacteria, every virus that you can think of, there's a homeopathic remedy made for that from Europe. And so oftentimes they bring it in.
Would it be specific for that person, or would it be specific? Would it be helpful if it was specifically for that person?
It could be made specifically for that person, but there are there are remedies that are available for anyone with that disease that will address the emotional components and work from the inside, the core, the emotional baggage inside up through the body and out.
And so because it's working on all the levels, you wouldn't have to, even if it got cured like allopathic does, you're in the same pattern and you're going to do the same thing again and produce the same disease.
Right, it's possible. But if you use homeopathy, it's less likely.
Because it's dealing on all the different levels.
All the different levels. Now, if you use homeopathy and do the NPR stuff, okay, and do homeopathy, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. You can handle whatever you want to handle. And I want to give everyone hope. Everyone who is suffering, whether they're suffering with a disease, or they're in pain because of a divorce, or some kind of problem in their life, or a death, or they've lost somebody, whatever in their life, whatever they're going through, the depression, all of that can be handled with homeopathic medicine. And this is not anything about filling my practice with people. I don't need to do that. But my job is to empower people to learn and to become educated. You know, I was talking yesterday, there's so many people that don't even know where their liver is, and so many men I've said to, patients, do you know where your prostate is? And they point up here to their shoulder, and I go, get a clue, We have to learn where these things are in our body. It's our body, we have organs. And to take them to somebody who doesn't know us as well as we do, okay, and say, okay, fix us, I think it's asking a little much. So I think if
it's asking for trouble.
It's asking for trouble. I mean, it's like you're asking, you say, okay, I take my body to someone who doesn't know me, and they know where my liver is, but they don't know what's inside of me, what's making the anger or the rage or whatever it is, or the what makes the immune system of the liver low so that a person gets hepatitis. In order to get things, your immune system has to be low.
There is the theory, do you subscribe to the theory that like everyone has like low levels of has that disharmony in them, and it's only when their immune system of a certain area gets low enough that it kind of rears its head?
I think we have a lot of things genetically from our
from being in a human body and living in this.
Genetically from wherever we came from. For if we bring things with us from other times, we have a lot of information in there. And each organ has its own immune system, which is an energy. And as that immune system gets low because of emotions and are not taking care of ourselves, really, then we become susceptible to certain things. So be strong and, learn about your being, your consciousness, and what a beautiful person you really are.
And do any of the techniques you use involve any quiet time or meditation or anything where people come in contact with whatever the the form of they would recognize as the
Absolutely.
infinite or God or however that would be?
I have a technique called shape shifting.
Shape shifting?
Yeah, I have all these weird names I
Right.
call things, you know.
The Indians have used that before.
Right, shape shifting. And it's a way to still the mind, to stop the mind, which is what people who meditate want to do, so that they can feel. And as the mind is still,
What's
our
behind the mind?
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
If the mind's not there, what's there?
What's there? Like,
Right.
hello.
Right, right. Yeah, for most people, that's a very difficult procedure.
Well,
So-
this takes 10 minutes.
And the results seem to be unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Called shape shifting. And it's accumulative. The more you do it, the easier it is to get into that space. And I've worked with in my courses with some very difficult people who believe they were difficult. They, come right up and say, there's no way that I'm going to get to stop my mind, and I want you to know it right now, no matter what you do. I've tried everything. I can't do it. And I go, wonderful. Let's go outside and try this. I mean, all the resistance in the world won't make it not work.
Right.
They'll just end up working through the resistance because I had them for 5 days.
Unless they bolt, right?
I've never had anybody
No
bolt.
one's bolted out.
It's too
After
loving to
2
bolt.
Really? Is that
Yeah,
so?
it's too loving to bolt. We feed them good, It's like good jokes,
So they're pretty happy being there.
pretty happy.
So, and your experience is that this is like an easy process for somebody to come into their own power, for somebody to
have had-
recognize who they are in essence.
I have had the most experienced, most evolved people in my trainings that I teach who want to take it to the next level. Okay, I have a lot of people like that. And
The
then
next level being?
for them,
Oh, I see.
the next, like, they've done every course on the planet, they've done whatever they need to do on every planet, and they're helping lots of people, and they're just very, very well known at what they do, but there's something in their life, they just got a message that they need to they can't get this last thing, so they come in. And then I've worked with people who have done like 3 to 5 years of work on themselves, but nowhere near what the other person does. And there's actually no telling who's going to do better in the course,
Right.
because they're all going to get what they need to get. And I've had beginners do amazing, amazing. So it's just about what a person's ready for, and if they really have a passion for healing themselves and helping other people to do the same, empowering each other. That's what it's all about. It's about, I always say to people, you can't, you're either pregnant or you're not. You can't be a victim and be empowered. But yet there's certain areas of our lives where we are victims and other areas where we are empowered. So all those areas where we still feel a little victim stuff going on, we can transform that. It's all about transformation.
So, in your experience, and you being in a human body, and you've been doing this for a number of years, I mean, what areas are really sticky for human beings? What areas are sticky for you?
I'm a high maintenance person for myself.
So can you have to do
require-
NPR like every 8 minutes or something?
No, I mean, I don't, it's a good question though. I may be
I try. I waited to the end of the show to fucking get around.
I probably do a session on myself once every 3 weeks, or sometimes if I feel really challenged by something I hear in the news, like I hear something in the news and I feel like, this doesn't feel good, let me see if there's some reflection in me about that, man, I'll get after it. But I mean, I take really good care of myself, so I'm pretty high maintenance. I want to eat right, I want to do my green drink, I want to exercise, and I want to talk to plants. I mean, I'm a very high maintenance kind of person for myself. So what's
You
good
take
for
good care of yourself, in other words,
Yeah.
knowing what you know about healing and all that.
right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I guess these shows go so fast, so, thank you all for coming, thank you, Teresa,
Thank you,
Nicola.
Alan.
And if you want any information about Teresa's workshop, Nicola's, where she's playing concerts, her her CD. Please call me at 805-687-2053. That's Alan, 805-687-2053. Also, I'd like to thank everybody who's helped us get on all over the country. It's really spreading. The love is happening. We appreciate it all. Thank you. Good night. God bless you.